Joining us now, another guy I'm a big fan of. He's not Michael Jackson, but Rohan Katti. I got a shoulder shrug on that one. Rohan Katti joins us now from the GyroStep podcast. Follow him on X at Katti Jr. Rohan, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm the one who's appreciative. It's always such a fun time to be here.
Ty Windish is on all the time on all these shows. And I want to get my guy Rohan Katti on, but you are so busy, man. You're busier than anybody. You always got stuff going on. So when you said, yes, I can do it yesterday for today, I said, I'm in. I'm going to talk about this coming up at 420, but I want to get your thoughts on it first. And your interactions with the people that follow you all in the GyroStep podcast, that follow you on X and so forth. Where do you feel like right now we are with the majority of the Bucks fans that follow you guys as far as them actually wanting the Bucks to sign Giannis to that next Supermax extension versus the number of people who are like, I'm good. He's hurt all the time. Let's move.
I think from my perspective, it's a majority of people who would want him to keep, for him to sign an extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think one of the biggest divides that comes up is whether Giannis, in this situation, whether he is going to sign an extension or not. But from the perspective, and I really like the question, is do you want Giannis to sign an extension? I would say the majority of people, and I could be wrong, from my perspective, would say that, yeah, that answer is yes. We'd like to keep Giannis. We'd like to have him on the team because
I'm telling you,
you're never going to get a player like him again.
Yeah, we agree. But I'm telling you, I see tweets like this, and I've been seeing more and more in the last couple of days from Adam on X. Regardless if Giannis wants to be here, he's injury prone and misses several, if not a majority of most playoff games since the Bucks won the chip. Can't afford to spend $70 million a year on that. Just trade him. I mean, I see more and more of that, of people just wanting to be done and move on. And we're going to get more into this at 420. And I kind of shake my head because, like you, like the odds of getting another MVP player in a Bucks uniform at that level in our lifetime, probably slim at this point, Rohan.
Very slim. I mean, who thought it was going to happen again after Kareem, right? Like, if you have Kareem as a franchise player and your franchise great, you're like, that's awesome. You know, you've done very well as a franchise. So the fact that the Bucks have gotten Giannis Antetokounmpo and had him on the team for so long is just a miracle. So that in and of itself is a very unlikely thing. If you want that to happen again in the near future, good luck with that. The math isn't in your favor. I'd rather pay $70 million to Giannis, even if he is going to be a little bit hurt sometimes, than pay $70 million to someone who's not going to perform at that level.
Talking with Rohan Katti, GyroStep podcast, joining us here on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all on Wisconsin Sports Daily. All right, Rohan, let's talk about this report that Sharania had. I didn't even bring it up yesterday. I'm so sick of it because he really didn't say anything. He just regurgitated everything that he said already. Yes, they're open for business. And yes, they also are thinking about potentially adding and trying to keep him at the same point. So really nothing came out of that entire piece that he had yesterday. For you, because you and I have not had this conversation, what's the baseline for you? If you're going to trade Giannis, what's that minimum they must get back? You don't have to give me names of players, but type of players, type of picks, how many picks, what's that baseline deal for you where this at least has to occur? If it does not, I'm going to let him have it.
First and foremost, you need that blue chip prospect, right? Whether that is a young player who is already has a lot of potential, whether that is a draft pick in this upcoming draft for this year, for 2026, you need that star level prospect or that blue chip sort of asset to be able to make that trade. You can't do it without just saying like, okay, here's some picks and some salary filler, unless it's a pick in this year's draft. That's a different story. But just like future picks and salary filler, no, that's not going to get it done. That's never been done in terms of this magnitude of star trade in the NBA. It always is a good young prospect and the picks and that salary filler that's going to be used to make some other trades down the road and maybe get some assets from some playoff teams down the road at the trade deadline. But you, first and foremost, you need that young star. You need that at least a young player with promise, and you need all the picks that they can get. If they don't have any picks, they need to go get picks to be able to make that trade. You can't settle if you're the Bucks. You have to be able to get everything, because that's what teams get. They get everything. And for a player like Giannis, you expect everything and more.
But the other part about this is because he has the ability with a player option next year or after next year to where he can kind of dictate where he goes. If he doesn't want to go to city X, he can be like, you could trade me there, but I'm opting out when I can because I don't want to be in that city, long term. So to a degree, he does hold some power over the situation as far as where you can trade him. Now, Damian Lillard tried to bully his way to Miami. That did not work. He ended up in Milwaukee, did sign, the new deal in Milwaukee, and then ended up getting hurt for 2 years. And that was the end of Damian Lillard. Now he's back in Portland. But that power that he wields of, I want to be in New York, I want to be in Miami, really could kind of hamper what John Horst is trying to do here.
It could, and it also could not, right? Because you get both sides of that coin. You can have that Damian Lillard situation where Milwaukee wasn't even on his initial list, but then it's like, oh, that Miami trade isn't good enough. Portland, that their brass is like, okay, that Miami trade, we don't like what they're going to give us. Sorry, Dame, you're not going to Miami. Give us a new list of teams. We'll work with you and we'll make it happen. And that way, in that situation, you could get that all of those picks that Milwaukee was able to give and that Drew Holiday piece, which they were able to make a trade for with the Boston Celtics later on. But you can still make things happen, right? It's not all or nothing. And in the few situations where we have had all or nothing trades, like the one that comes to mind is Carmelo Anthony from the Nuggets to the Knicks. The Nuggets still got everything from the Knicks in that trade. And that's part of the reason the Carmelo Anthony era wasn't as successful as it potentially could have been in New York. But Denver was still able to get everything. You look at Phoenix, when they were making a trade for Kevin Durant from Brooklyn, they were able to get everything, even though that there were only a few places that Kevin Durant wanted to go. You even look at Kawhi Leonard, who was the ultimate scenario of this guy is going to LA in a year anyway. Toronto is still giving up like one of their best players in franchise history to make that trade happen in DeMar DeRozan. And you're still able to get assets. So even if Giannis has that list of teams and has that preferred destinations, that doesn't necessarily mean that the return for the Bucks is going to be bad. You can still get everything you want and help Giannis get to a team where he wants to go to.
All right, Rohan, tell me this. Let's say they go, okay, Giannis says, I'm not signing the extension. You can trade me, do whatever you're going to do, but I'm not signing the extension. Okay, fine. So now you're the Bucks. It's not we're coming up on draft time. So now you can pick a route. Either get a pick in this year's draft and whatever the rest of the package is. You can wait till after the draft and negotiate more and do something closer to the season. You have all these different options. But if he's not here and you're essentially blowing it up at that point, who do you still want on this roster where you're like, okay, I know they're blowing it up. I know it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to take a while. Is there anybody on this roster where you go, I really would like to build with this 1, 2, 3 players? Because, as I've said before, I have no attachment to any of these guys. I know there's a big Ryan Rollins fan base. I get it. But I don't have the same attachment to Ryan Rollins watching him play. So for me, they can trade everybody with Giannis and start completely over, and I would be completely fine with it for sure. Where do you sit?
Well, I would say I am part of the Ryan Rollins fan club, so he is for sure going to be there
fine.
for me. I mean, like, if you like, I get it, right? He's not going to be an all-star, superstar type player. I understand that. But if you have a good player who has shown he is a good player on a very, very cheap contract, under contract for the next 2 years, or at least another year with a player option, you want to keep that, because even if you decide, hey, he's not part of our future, we have a new guard prospect that we really, really like, teams will want Ryan Rollins. So you could always trade him later on, but I would want to keep Ryan Rollins. I'd also want to keep Ousmane Dieng, just because you'd like to see what he's got. You were able to get him at the trade deadline this year and really start to tap into that potential that he wasn't able to tap into in Oklahoma City because they just have no playing time because they're a juggernaut. So just being able to tap into a young wing who's rangy, can shoot, get to the rim, like those are not very, those prospects come few and far between for guys like Ousmane Dieng. So I'd like to keep someone like him. And honestly, I know this is probably going to be a divisive answer. I'd like to keep Miles Turner, because he is a good center and he is still relatively young. If you want to build out the next 4 or 5 years, you would want a good starting center. Starting centers are hard to come by in the NBA. You look at the Indiana Pacers, because they let Miles Turner walk in free agency, they had to trade the number 5 overall pick to get Ivica Zubac
Stupid.
because they needed a good quality starting center.
Yeah.
So that shows how valuable those types of players are. And again, you can always trade him later if you find another center. But if you have a good center in the NBA, you want to keep them. Like, that is a good value add because they are hard to find. So I would say those 3 are my top, and in that order.
I like Pritchard. I think he's a good GM. That was a dumb move. You weren't going anywhere without Halliburton. You knew you did not have to do that now. You could have done that this summer or whenever you want to do it. You did not have to go make that move when he made it. And obviously he rolled the dice that we'll stay in the top 3, so this isn't going to kill us or whatever, the top 4. And then it completely did kill him either way. I'm definitely not on the keep Miles Turner bandwagon for certain because he was god-awful without Giannis on the floor. In fact, if I could figure out a way to package his butt with Giannis to go somewhere to make the package even bigger and even more lucrative, I think I would consider that. Rohan Katti joins us at the GyroStep podcast. Follow him on X at R. Katti Jr. How much value do you think Bobby Portis brings in return on an expiring deal?
That is a very good question. I would say it's something that Ty and I like to joke about all the time. We keep a running bit of whether we would trade Bobby Portis for Zachary Risacher at any given point, and it fluctuates in between, and that's how we kind of gauge not only his value but Risacher's value. Risacher's value took a plunge after he didn't play in the playoffs, so that's a new debate now. But it's kind of hit or miss, right? Because you need to find the team that could extract the value that Bobby Portis wants, or that he has, because he is a very productive player coming off the bench. He will get you baskets when you need him to. He will spot up and hit threes when he feels like it. He will pick and pop when he feels like it. And maybe under a better coach and a better system, he'd be able to thrive even more. I don't think Doc Rivers really optimized the Bobby Portis experience, to say the least. But I would say that you could maybe get, I don't know, you could at least get like multiple second round picks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is in terms of like actual currency to make trades. Like the Bucks have essentially zero second round picks that they can throw into trades, and you need to put something in a trade to make something happen. So getting actual currency is good. So you could get some second round picks, and who knows, some of them might be valuable, as well as some salary that you can also use as a player, like if that player is good because he has a decent mid-sized salary, or use that to facilitate more trades, because Bobby Portis is valuable for the Bucks, not only because of how he plays and who he is as a player, but in terms of his salary, making between 10 to 15 million, that's a rare commodity to be able to say, hey, we can go make a trade with this mid-sized salary. That doesn't really exist in the NBA anymore, or as much as it used to. So having that and having that ability to make trades is valuable.
What about Taylor Jenkins? Fan, not a fan? And if you are a fan, why are you a fan?
I'm a big fan. I'm a really big fan of this move because, one, he seems like the type of coach that will instill a culture into the Bucks, which they have not had in a few years. Who will actually have them playing with some sort of identity. I don't know what that identity is going to be, probably a defensive-minded team, but they just need something, like focus on something. What are we good at as a team? I could not tell you what the Bucks were good at as a team under Doc Rivers because they didn't play to any of their strengths. Yes, that is a very good point. Their identity was losing. So just being able to have that sort of belief in your own team. And I think that he is a good coach no matter what happens this summer. If you have Giannis on the team, I think he's going to be able to maximize this team. If you don't have Giannis on the team and you're on a full-scale rebuild, I think he is a good man for that job as well. So knowing that the two paths that are available for the Bucks this offseason, I think either way, he is going to be really, really good in that role. And so being able to get his deal done early before some of these other vacancies opened, like Orlando, if you're Taylor Jenkins, you'd much rather go to Orlando, but that job wasn't open. Bucks snatched him up. So I am a big fan of this move.
Yeah, that would have been a huge hire for Orlando at that point. Rohan Katti Jr. joining us again, GyroStep podcast. Make sure to watch that. Him and Ty Winters do a great job with that. Follow him on X at R. Katti Jr. Rohan, thank you so much for coming on, man. We got to do this more often.
I agree. Let's make it happen. And thank you for having me.